You do some really cool work that's right at the intersection of research and conservation and management. And I'm really curious, what got you interested in that line of work?
Oh, I can blame my big brother for that one. He's much older than I am. He was in college when I was a kid, and he would take me tide pooling when I was about 5 years old, and just he'd tell me how all the animals worked in as a community, and pointed out to the oceans that I get to scuba dive down there, and I just was filled with wonder as to what could be under the sea. And I always wanted to work at NOAA since it was the place that understands and in some ways can protect the animals that I just thought were so fascinating. I always knew that I wanted to be involved in research in some capacity, but I didn't really know what that meant. Oh, this picture. Yeah, that's snorkeling, my first snorkeling experience with my parents.
That's incredible.
I always wanted to be involved in research, but I didn't really know what that meant until college when I imagine most people have taken some sort of chemistry lab. And I remember being in chem lab and wondering why we just keep doing the same experiments over and over again when we know exactly what the answer is supposed to be. You know, you're either right or you're wrong. And I remember asking a grad student at the time, what do you expect to come out of your research project? And he told me, I don't know, nobody knows. It's totally new science. And I was just floored at that moment. I thought, I want to do that. I want to figure out new things. And just figured out a way to get here, and now I'm at NOAA doing really exciting work that is on the frontier of exploration in the deep sea.
Yeah, I was wondering actually so not a lot of people understand what it means to be involved in policy. And so I was wondering if you could tell us kind of what your day-to-day looks like as a program coordinator for NOAA's Deep Sea Coral Research and Technology Program.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it's not scuba diving like the picture just before. That was a past life. But it's more technologically interesting. So the purpose of the Deep Sea Coral Research Technology Program is to support the science and exploration of deep sea habitats that are in every region of the U.S. And we have a lot of water as part of the U.S., so it's a lot of area to cover. And then we make that research available to inform management decisions. So what that really means, the first thing we try to do, a big part of my day-to-day work is cultivating close relationships with fishery management councils. And those are the people in each region of the country who make rules about when, where, how to fish. They really control all of those aspects of federal waters. And that's where the deep sea is, in those deeper federal waters. So I find out priorities. I find out the locations that they need research to happen in, because maybe somebody's interested in what they think might be deep sea coral habitat in a popular fishing ground, and they need to make a decision on whether that should be protected, and if so, how. We will send money and a cruise, a research expedition out there, and get people in the field to address those priorities and figure out what is going on in those regions. Is there coral? Do commercial fish depend on that coral? That can influence management decisions. Sometimes I get to go out into the field too to do some of that research, but most of the time I am sitting at my desk and in front of a computer and communicating with people in one way or another about how we can address the priorities of research managers.
So where exactly in your career path did you make that leap from shallow water to deep?
It was when I worked at NOAA. Well, yeah, it was when I started working at NOAA. Just before working at NOAA, I worked at the National Academy of Sciences, which is an amazing institution that gets groups of experts together and pulls ideas out of 15 very, very smart people's brains and gets it into a single report that guides some sort of decision. And so when I was working there, it was how do we figure out how to monitor all the restoration work that's going on in the Gulf of Mexico after Deepwater Horizon spill. So we touched on some deep water issues there. And that's when I started understanding what kind of resources could be affected by oil spills, and deep sea coral definitely being one of them. So a little teaser of deep sea there, but it was really when I started working at NOAA.